Hey
Hey
guys!
guys! Welcome to our very first episode of the Cozy Critique. We're really excited to be here
Yep,
and we're excited to get started.
let's do it.
You want to introduce yourself?
My name's Haley. I'm studying criminology and I like to read a lot, and my favorite books are sci-fi and historical fiction.
Very nice. I'm Kenzie. I am an English major, so this works out quite well. I thoroughly enjoy dystopian. I love The Hunger Games and books very similar.
Mhm.
Other than that, proper romance is kind of my guilty pleasure,
Nice.
which kind of works out perfect for what we're reading.
Yep. Speaking of, we're reading Red Rising.
By
My,
Pierce Brown.
yes, probably my favorite series of all time.
This is very much a recommendation from Haley, which is
Yes.
very exciting.
All right. Should
I'm
we just
loving
get
it so
into
far.
it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
Okay. Do you want to kind of get us started with like setting and like social
Yeah.
scenario, things like that?
Yeah, so in this book, there's a society of all these different colors, and they basically are almost like societal classes. But what's interesting is that they actually have like different physical characteristics. So not only are they like societal classes in this hierarchy, but they are literally almost like different races of human beings. And in this society, there's all these different planets, and this takes place on Mars. There's a mining colony called Lycos where Darrow lives in Clan Lambda. So that's the basic world for these few chapters. We're on Mars, we're in a mining colony, we're within the red people.
I love it. I kind of like the parallel, which this seems super obvious, but like Mars, Earth's surface, or the surface of Mars is very red, and like the reds are
Yes,
mining red.
and the fry suit. I didn't pick this up the first time, but his fry suit is like described as like blood red. And I
Yeah,
was like, wow, they literally only see red.
which honestly
hmm
tracks. Something that I really liked, even from like a cultural standpoint, from the very first page, is the cultural significance of song and dance. I really liked how it automatically implies how his father died through some dance that we
Yes.
will get into later,
hmm
but like
Yeah.
obviously it has cultural significance in there somewhere. Um and then like almost immediately after, I really really like this aspect of Darrow filling up this almost theme of hands. Like
Interesting.
immediately he goes into this rant about how to be a hell diver, they say your fingers must flicker fast as tongues of fire. Mine flicker faster. Darrow has very competent hands, and I feel like throughout the chapters that we're reading today, it just continues to build. This is on
Mhm.
page 4. Um, and I really like that because hands very much like represent strength to Darrow, and it's really, really cool to me.
That's interesting. That's not a theme that I actually picked up on, but that's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Um, a theme that I picked up on was the theme of obedience. It's like I highlighted every time it says obedience, and I also didn't pick up on this the first time I read this, but it's in there a lot, and even in the first time, we kind of get a glimpse of the societal hierarchy. There's this quote on page 6. It says, "Remember the words of our golden leader, patience and obedience, young one. patience is the better part of valor, and obedience is the better part of humanity. And so that's kind of where we see like golden leader, like, oh, the golds are leading and they kind of view them as like gods and you're supposed to obey them.
Yeah, very much so. And like honestly, it's something that really irks me very much so because like I don't know, Daryl very look he very much looks at the golds like they're very much like the pompous windbags that have not much
Yeah.
good to say.
Yes.
And yeah. Another thing that like I really focused on was the fact that they're mining helium-3 and it's really important for terraforming.
Yeah.
Like their cities and like the surface of Mars, but they wouldn't know, they wouldn't be able to see the direct results of their labor because they never see the surface.
Yeah, he says somewhere in there like he's never seen a bird and he's
Yeah,
never seen the sky.
except for on the HC,
Yeah.
which honestly so sad.
Speaking of like the terraforming process that they're told that they're doing, they're told over and over on the HC that they're pioneers and they're valiant and they're doing these great things for humanity. Um, but little do they know it's just all lies and that's not the world at all.
Yeah, I mean, we see pretty soon after that Io thinks that they're slaves. Let me find the quote that says that really quick. It's on page 7. Io says the laurel, which I'll let you talk about in a second, is the carrot the society dangles, always just far enough beyond our grasp. Just enough so we know how short we really are and how little we can do about it. We're supposed to be pioneers. Io calls us slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, so the laurel um is basically a way for the golds in the society to suppress the lower colors, especially the reds. The reds are seen as like the lowest of the low, basically. They're yeah, they're the ones that are basically slaves, but they still don't view themselves as that. So the laurel gives them this kind of like motivation to actually work harder and perform better, thinking that they're creating this awesome society. Um, but when we find out that that's not exactly how it works, that's when we learn it's literally just equal to the gold's power over them.
Yeah, it's very much like this overrepresentation of power because they get to withhold rations and other supplies from Darrow's little clan,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't work out very well.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I really, really love is how Darrow talks about Io. And I know you're going to think I'm such a cheesy romantic for saying this, but there's something in the way he says, Io dances through my thoughts. Io. Sometimes it's difficult to think of her as anything but what we used to call her as children, little Io. She could be made from air, from the ether that binds the stars in patchwork. Shut up. That is so sweet. I love it when a man is just literally pining over his girl. It's just so sweet. But I do feel like there's this aspect of foreshadowing in a way that Darrow loves her so deeply that it's almost to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that kind of love doesn't go unpunished,
Mm-hmm.
and that's terrifying. I don't want to think about that after how he talks about her. Like, stop. My little Darrow, my little Io. Ah.
He's obviously very in love with Io.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. Can't really say much more on that.
Errol.
Uncle Nero.
Yeah. I really like this man. There's just something about it.
What?
Something about this grumpy old miner.
Really? I don't think I've ever heard of anyone say that they like Uncle Nero. That is really funny. Why do you like Uncle
I
Nero?
think he's funny.
Okay. How
I
so?
mean, since we are kind of nearing the end of this chapter, I'm gonna go ahead and share my favorite quote from this entire thing.
Okay.
It says, "Old enough to screw, old enough to crew."
I
Like,
was wondering
come
if you were gonna
on.
pick that one.
Like, it's so funny.
Okay, my favorite quote is much different than that.
Okay.
My favorite quote is the very first sentence of this entire series. It's technically not even in the chapter, it's just the first page where we get a glimpse of him surrounded by all these golds. And he sees this golden man between these pillars and he's viewing him as a god. But it says, I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. And the first time I read that, it's like, wow, Darrow's life is really hard. He's obviously the victim in this situation, but as you start reading through, that's not exactly what's happening. And then it's really hard to define who the actual enemy is.
How dare you take away my cute little love story and my little father-like uncle relationship?
I'm
Like, how
sorry,
dare
man.
you?
It must be done.
It's fine.
Shall we head to chapter 2?
I think so.
All right.
Um, Something that I really saw pretty prevalently in this chapter is our first intercolor relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's on page 13. I'm sure you have other things to say about this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of following your trail of obedience, I actually have that on my little flag here.
Yeah.
Um well, the tin pot. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Is it Ugly
Ugly Dan.
Dan? Ugly Dan. See, that's how much I like the man. I don't even
when
remember his name.
when I hear Ugly Dan, I think of the ugly duckling from Tangled. And then I pictured the guys in there. I don't know why.
You know what? I don't think I'll ever forget Ugly Dan's name again. Oh my gosh. Uh, um, Ugly Dan says to Darrow, "A bow to your betters won't go awry, don't you think?" And then it says, careless of his mockery, I turn and bow deeply. My uncle sees this and turns from it,
Mm.
disgusted. This is kind of why I like Nero. He is rebellious. He doesn't want to bow down to
Whoa.
someone who's like higher up.
That's actually really
I
interesting
told you.
because looking at your notes
Yeah.
before this and you mentioned that Uncle Nero was rebellious, I was like, no, he's not. I was like, he's just a coward. Like, he's just there. He's old. I was viewing him the way Darrow views him. And so I was actually really curious what you were going to say about that. But that makes a lot of sense. Turning away is like his own little rebellious act. Not the way Darrow obviously would, but it's definitely something.
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of think that he did take something from his brother, from Darrow's father, because he died for a reason. There has to be influence somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, do you have anything to add about that before we move on? Because, I mean, it is kind of to do with like that hierarchy.
Um, I have a little bit about the hierarchy. Um, on page 12, there's a little quote. It says, I remember when I met my first hell diver, I thought he was a god. And so it seems like they have this vision of what a god is, and then it moves up and it the definition kind of changes because his first time he thought this was just a hell diver just like him, and then probably throughout the book he's gonna meet more people, more godlike people, and then his definition of what he thinks a god is just gonna kind of upgrade over time. And so I thought that was kind of a theme in there of how they view gods.
I really like that because, like, even not to make this all literary here, but I'm going to, it very much parallels to where they live. It's underground.
Mhm.
Darrow's expectations are underground. His expectations as to like what a god
Yeah,
is going to be someone that he idolizes at a young age, like a
yeah,
helldiver. Like that's so cool to me.
hmm,
Like it's not a good thing, but it is pretty cool.
yeah.
Like Brown really did write this pretty well.
Another thing I like about chapter two, or something else I picked up on, is more of the kind of obedience theme. There, gosh, it just says it so many times. There's another quote on page 17. It says, "Now, through duty and obedience, we are united, but our struggle is no difference." And this is the voice of Octavia, our maybe our first glimpse of Octavia, who rules the entire society, basically the entire universe.
Yeah.
And she just grills it in their head that they are to obey and that obeying is the highest virtue. And I think that's how she gets away with all these lies. Um, Further down in that same speech of Octavia's, she keeps talking about how they're red pioneers and that they're made to suffer so that others can live on without pain and sorrow. And she's basically just like honoring them. But little do they know that she views them as like complete scum, like the lowest of the low. And so all these lies, Darrow just seems to be like eating them up, and he seems to completely believe it as of right now.
Yeah. It really shows why Darrow is so submissive because everything around him is telling him submit, submit, submit. Don't think on your own. Don't think anything other than what we're feeding you. So it's no wonder why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
So, you know me, hopeless romantic here. And maybe it's just because I'm sad and single. But uh, I really like this part where it is talking a lot about song and dance. I like this quote. It says, it's on page 15. It says, "Since song and dance are in our blood, I suppose it's not surprising that it was in both that I first realized I loved you." Like, granted, we know that, like,
Can I ask you a follow-up
yeah,
question?
absolutely.
Somewhere in there it says that EO is like loved by everybody, especially Darrow's mother. Just totally loves EO. Do you have any input like why you think that is? Do you think it's the same reason Darrow loves EO?
I think so, personally. Because you know how I can't remember if it was in this chapter or if it was in the last chapter where it was talking a lot about how Io brought a Hamanthus blossom to their doorstep for Darrow.
Yes.
Like,
After his father died.
died, yeah. And then after another relative had passed away as well due to
Oh,
execution.
right, because that was the second
Yeah.
time.
And through both, she was taking care of someone who wasn't expressing emotion who was needing to feel stone cold in order to feel in control. And she gave him the ability to feel in those moments. And genuinely, I feel like that is why Darrow's mom loves her just as much as Darrow does.
Mm-hmm. She's seems to me like she's basically like a light for all these people in such a
Yeah,
dark place. Um,
like literally.
yeah. Darrow also says that somewhere he's comparing Io to a gold, but not in like a bad way. Like he meant like she's so beautiful. She should be up there. She belongs with this higher race of these golds. And I thought that was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, very much like valuing her as the golds are valued in society. And
Yes.
even like the precious metal, even though Darrow's never seen it. But
Mm.
it brings me to my favorite quote. Let me find it. Ah, this is a very mild argument that they're in. This is when
Oh right.
Darrow and
Yes.
Io are play fighting um, about the surprise, and Darrow wants to go and see what it is. Uh,
Yes.
this is my absolute favorite quote for some reason because it
Let's
just
hear it.
furthers Darrow's submission not just to the hierarchy, but also to Io, who
Uh-huh.
is the higher power in this relationship.
Yeah.
It says, I dive into molten mine shafts without a blink, but there are some warnings you can buck off and others you can't. Meaning, Io gave him the death glare and he immediately folded.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that it was immediately followed by Io calling him a good boy. Come on.
Yeah, Darrow, he says it multiple times. He would literally do anything, give up anything for Io.
Yeah, I love it. All right, on to chapter 3, the Laurel. This is where all of what you were talking about in the last chapter ends up coming forth to be important. Um, the first thing that really caught my attention was this terrorist group, the
Yes.
Sons of Ares. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
they did some pretty atrocious things, or at least like
Yes.
that's what we're seeing.
Yes. It says they're targeting, not targeting, but they're blowing up Reds, these innocent people.
Yeah, like why would they be? Like these are the lowest of the low. Like why would they be blowing up the lowest of
Hmm.
the low when they could be attacking higher ups?
Yeah. And there's also, for now, there's the sense of mystery surrounding the Sons of Ares.
Yeah,
And it's pretty obvious that it's going to play more of a role in the future in this book.
yeah,
But for right now, it's a mystery. And I think Darrow's wondering who they are, just like everyone else is, why they're doing this. And I just think it's a great setup
yeah.
for
I
the rest
fully
of the book.
agree. I really like also how on page 21 it talks more about like the hierarchy in terms of dance, and this really shows like the Reds' priorities. It says the golds dance in pairs, obsidians in threes, grays in dozens. We dance alone because only alone do hell divers drill. Only alone can a boy become a man. They prioritize this toughness, this outer shell of being alone. Only alone can we really excel in life, in what we excel in.
Mhm. And
And
I
that
think
is
that's like
drilling.
a
Yeah.
I think that's like a red specialty,
Yeah.
especially a Helldiver specialty. And then again with the dance thing, it's something that the Reds can actually have for themselves. Like it's something that they can kind of rebel against the society. They can dance however they want, except of course for the one forbidden dance.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what they call that dance, but
I can't remember it either.
I think it was something like the dance of death or something like that. It was
Yeah,
something really
that
dark.
sounds about right.
Do you have anything else to
Uh,
say
I
about
do.
the dance?
Well, not about the dance, no, but we find out at the very end, like literally the last two lines of the entire chapter,
No.
Gamma gets the laurel and we don't. Even though they worked so hard.
Even though they should have
Yeah.
won in the numbers, they
Yeah,
won.
the number was they did win. Daryl worked his little booty off and they rightfully won that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But alas. Anyway, on to my favorite quote of
Let's
this
hear it.
entire chapter. It's actually back at the beginning when we're talking
Interesting.
about song and dance. It's back to Uncle Nero, and guess what? It's singing his praises. It is maddeningly difficult to make the zither sound anything but mournful. Uncle Nero's fingers are equal to the task, though mine only make tragic music. This just shows that he has different strengths.
That's a good quote.
Like, come on. Like, he is such a good person. Like, you can tell. He has his faults, don't get me wrong. The guy is a belligerent drunk, but he has
Yes.
different strengths.
I think another thing we should mention with Uncle Nero is that he's 35 years
Yeah.
old. And he's like, that's considered old. And so, like, even just that, seeing a gold person, they're much older than that, but they still view them as basically like without imperfection. And then we see Uncle Nero, he's 35 and he's only ever described as like an old man.
Yeah.
So that
So
just shows
true.
how harsh of an environment that they're in, where 35 is considered old.
Yeah. And I fall victim to that. Every single time I hear his name, I envision this rusty old prospector
Yeah.
that barely ever sees the light of day, in their case, never. But
Hmm. And it's all true.
it is. But yeah.
Hey, my favorite quote is at the end of chapter 3. It says, I'm their pride, their golden sun. And it's basically just talking about how his clan of Lambda totally loves Darrow for the fact that he's a hell diver. And he's a really good one at that. But it says golden sun. And
It's foreshadowing.
I know I'd never picked up on it. Obviously, the second book in this series is called Golden Sun, and I always wondered why it was called that. I didn't really, I couldn't really pick up on it, but maybe that's why.
That was highlight worthy. I had to go through and mark that. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys today.
Yep, that concludes
Yeah.
episode 1.
I hope you guys are enjoying this book as much as we are. Continue reading. We will be back soon with another episode.
Yep,
We love you.
see y'all.
Bye.